Welcome everyone to the London College of Communication. This is a presentation for MA Journalism. So my name is Dr. Lucia Bodanovic. I'm the course leader of MA Journalism. As we will explain later, this is a master that has 3 pathways. So we also have a pathway lead for each one of those. At the moment, I'm also the pathway lead of Arts and Lifestyle Journalism, and I am acting pathway for audio and video journalism. And I'm joined by my colleague Alejandro.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alejandro Obran, and just like Lucia mentioned, I'm pathway lead of the MA Social Justice Journalism. I've have some experience as a journalist, and I've done some research on the media policy and journalism in Latin America. And if you decide to join us, I will be your personal tutor for those who choose social justice journalism.
Thank you. So as I was saying just now, our masters have 3 pathways: arts and lifestyle journalism, audio and video journalism, and social justice journalism. This means that we have some shared units that everyone does, but we also have some pathway-specific units. So we think that we strike the right balance there. So you have some shared units in which you can meet people in other pathways and have shared interests and so on, but also you have the pathway-specific content that you are looking for. By the way, quite a lot of the slides here have work by our recent graduates. So in this case, Davis, she was one of the students from the social justice pathway. One of the things that applicants or prospective applicants always want to know about is who studies journalism at LCC. So we're very lucky in that we have quite a good diversity of students, both in terms of background, nationality, etc. So a lot of our students come from the UK, and also we have a lot of international students. In terms of their background, I would say that they mostly come from 3 main camps, if you like. Some of them come from a conventional humanities background, so they might have done English literature, history, liberal studies, etc. So those students now want to do something more practical after their more academic studies, and they come to us for that reason. We also have some students who have done journalism before. Those students probably maybe did a course that was quite focused on news journalism, conventional news journalism, and they come to us because of the pathway-specific content, but also because we are also committed to other genres within journalism, so long-form writing, short-form video, etc., not just news, traditional news. And we also have students who come from creative disciplines. So over the years, we have had students who have come from a fine arts background, photography background, design background, and they're interested in kind of writing or creative content about those disciplines that they studied before. And lastly, in addition to these 3 groups of people, we have had some students who have come after years of working in industry. And we have Sunny there in a short clip that will be played shortly. Sunny is from the US. She graduated last December, and she did a little social media clip about the course that would be played in a moment.
I'm Sunny, a recent graduate of LCC's MA Arts and Lifestyle Journalism course. And here are some of the things that made the course so special for me. First off, I have a deep love for LCC's library, where I spent what feels like months of my life writing up stories or daydreaming between book aisles when I needed a break. Next, the course wouldn't be anything without the amazing tutors that help guide us. Shout out to Simon Hind, who gives the best advice. I've learned so much from him and all the others on the course. And then, of course, journalism is nothing without real-world experience. This year, I worked on a piece about the roller skating scene in London, where I got to meet the young people who are redefining this subculture and skating in crazy impressive ways. It's been a beautiful and truly developmental experience. Thanks for following along.
So as part from using the facilities that are specific to our courses, if you come to us, you would also enjoy the college-wide specialist facilities. So some of them are named there on the screen. Then very nice gallery spaces where there's always exhibitions. There's the kid room where you can borrow equipment. There's the printmaking facilities that students always enjoy. And remember that if you come to LCC, you are coming to UAL as a whole. So you can use the library at LCC, but you can also use the library at Central St. Martin's. You will have, or Chelsea or Camberwell. You will have access to all sorts of all the different colleges. So you come both to the smaller family of LCC and the wider family at UAL. And again, what you see there on screen is a still from a video by our recent graduate Maya, who did the Orion video pathway. And she did this very interesting and fun video about the links between rave music and spirituality. And absolutely everything was done with the shooting equipment and the editing software that she had access to while she was a student at college. In terms of staff expertise, Alejandro already said a little bit about his background. So all our tutors either come from an academic background or an industry background or both. I would say that the industry background is probably more prevalent than the conventional academic background. So you see some of the names of people who work with us there. So there's me with short hair on the screen. There's Simon Hind, who is program director, so head of department. He's very involved in the teaching of the masters. He teaches 3 units in the masters and is generally someone that students really enjoy working with because he has a lot of industry experience and spent a lot of time giving feedback to students and so on. We also have Vivian, who has done lots of projects with industry partners and now teaches the collaborative unit. And we also see Russell on the screen, who also comes from an industry background and teaches the audience editing and platform management unit. So those are some of the faces that we have today. Of course, those people can change, but the important thing is to emphasize that everyone comes from an industry background. I come more from an academic background, but the whole approach of the course is very much about making work that is relevant for industry, etc. So most of our tutors come from that kind of practical background. I'm now going to say a couple of things about the Arts and Lifestyle pathway. So this is actually the only Arts and Lifestyle course that exists in the country. So some universities might have a module on Arts and Lifestyle or an optional unit on Arts and Lifestyle, but a whole MA specializing in Arts and Lifestyle, we are the only one in the country. It's a multimedia course, so even if you come to do this course and you don't come to the Orion video pathway, let's say, you will still do some video content because that's important today for you as graduates, that you have those AV skills. It's multimedia, it's quite committed to experimentation and creativity. We do things like long form writing, journalistic essays, more conventional journalistic content as well. But everyone who comes to this pathway have an interest in arts and culture. So you see there Naomi, who is now the editor of Arts News, which is a platform with information about the art world. Is very much market focused, but also has like a branch that is more journalistic. And Naomi is the editor there. She's doing really, really well. She was one of our first graduates, actually. Another important thing of this pathway is that we really like students to develop their own personal voice. Actually, this is true probably for all pathways. We allow students to develop their own ideas and their own projects, develop their personal voice. So really think about the type of journalist they want to be in the future and the contribution they would like to make to the industry, alongside learning practical skills. And everyone in this pathway, and actually in all pathways, will have the opportunity to work in our magazine called Artifact, and Alejandro would say something else about that magazine later on. And actually, now I pass on to him, who will talk about the social justice pathway.
Yes. Well, just like Lucia said, you will be sharing some of these units alongside. So some of the characteristics that Lucia just listed, for example, the emphasis on multimedia production or the interest in creative and collaborative responses to journalism, are shared also with the social justice pathway. And also, just like the arts and lifestyle, this social justice journalism pathway is quite unique. And we are particularly interested in exploring the ways in which journalism can change the world for the better. We pay particularly attention to issues around human rights and civil rights, the unequal distribution of resources and opportunities, and the way that different communities are reported and are represented in the media, particularly in journalism. We acknowledge the special role that journalism plays within democratic societies, but we challenge the uncritical understanding of objectivity and recognize, for example, that all editorial decisions are culturally and politically situated. So we engage with questions around advocacy and activism. Some of the topics that we cover in class include protest and activism and journalism, advocacy and constructive journalism, peace journalism, representation of suffering, climate justice, disability justice, queer theory, amongst many others. The pathway, however, is predominantly a practice-based course. So we will be providing you with the journalistic skills to produce social justice journalism. In addition to the general skills that you will develop alongside the students from other pathways, you will have a specific practice-based unit in which you will, for example, learn how to report protest or how to interview vulnerable individuals, how to report on marginalized populations ethically, and how to recognize and use non-discriminatory language in your own reporting. Perhaps you also need to recognize and reflect on your own positionality. Who are you as a journalist, as a person, as a citizen, and how to understand the media market for social justice journalism. So the stories that you're interested in telling, where will they be published? How will they reach their audience? What type of impact would you like to have with those stories that you tell? So the course is designed to allow you to explore your interests and to take full advantage of the opportunities that London has to offer. And we are very proud that in addition to the lectures and seminars and workshops that students have to attend, we also encourage you to visit galleries, and we go with you to museums. We explore specialist archives and attend screenings and podcasting recordings. And we attempt to immerse, to invite you to immerse yourself in the journalistic culture of London, which, as you can imagine, it's a hub of activities. What you can see in the screen there is the front cover of a special magazine that was published by the students as a special project in which we were responding to the global crisis of food. So we are always keen on having additional opportunities for students to practice their own, journalistic interest, in addition to all the submissions that you have to, to fulfill to graduate.
So as I say in the introduction, I'm also at the moment acting pathway lead for audio and video journalism. So unlike the other two pathways that are kind of connected to a theme or an area, arts and lifestyle and social justice, the audio and video pathway is for students who are really interested in audio and video as a medium. So as we were saying, the whole course is multimedia, but some students want to do more work in audio and video. So they might want to develop a career in podcasting or in broadcasting. They might do more video work, etc. This is quite an interesting moment in industry for video journalism. So a lot of even conventional news organizations now that they used to work in print, in writing and so on, now they also have video platforms. And we all know about how much podcasting has grown in the last few years. So this is quite an interesting moment for audio and video content in journalism. So everyone does multimedia, but students in the audio and video pathway do more and have a whole extra unit, pathway specific, that is about audio and video content. So if you come to this pathway, You will learn how to tell stories across different forms of audio and visual media, such as podcasts, short-form documentaries, and creative videos for social media. And that's another still by the film Divined by Maya that I was talking about earlier, this film that explored the links between spirituality and dance music.
Yes, and just like we've mentioned before that you will become part of the publishing and journalism program, but you're also going to be part of LCC College, and you're part of the University of the Arts. So as you can imagine, we are very keen for you to explore all the opportunities and the possibilities that being part of such a large and interdisciplinary and exciting and creative university offer. Collaboration kind of sits at the center of what we do. And collaboration happens across the different pathways, but also we are keen for you to make contacts with students, enroll in other programs. We have a very kind of welcoming atmosphere at college. And there are moments also within the program in which collaboration is embedded in the teaching. And perhaps the space in which collaboration takes its biggest form is in the collaborative unit, which happens in the second block. In that unit, you are, of course, required to work in teams, but importantly, you are responding to an industry brief. We invite industry partners to come in and provide a task, a challenge for you to fulfill during the duration of that unit. And as a team, you will have to learn to, collaborate, to split your work, to timetable your own, your own responsibilities, to provide a work that is of the quality required. In the past, we have had quite high-profile partners, including UNESCO and the Guardian newspaper, the Dulwich Gallery, amongst many others. And the idea is for you to experience what it is to collaborate in a newsroom and not just produce journalism, individually on your own. There is also the opportunity to present some of that work in Artifact. It's a magazine that is produced by students. This magazine collects some of the work that you produce during the time that you are studying with us, and especially also your final major project. This magazine has a strong online presence that we would invite you to visit. Recently, it has launched a Substack, and it has also a social media presence. And the idea is that the Artifact as a magazine, as the repository of all the work that you have created, will be also of the highest quality, so that once you graduate, you will have a strong portfolio too. Collaboration, it's also a matter of sociability and finding your tribe. We are always delighted to see that people who come and study the MA in journalism also make long-lasting friendships, and that students take what they have learned here back to their communities to bring back whatever they have learned here at UEL.
Yeah, one very important thing to say about our course is that we are very industry facing. So that means a number of different things. For instance, we regularly have a range of guest speakers coming to talk to students about different things in the classroom. So let's say we're teaching pitching, we will have an industry person who is an expert in pitching or receiving pitches, and they will come to the classroom to talk to students about how to do that. Other people might come to talk about freelancing, different aspects of the industry, etc. Also, every year we run a very popular Meet the Experts event in February. This is an informal and kind of fun networking event that puts you in direct contact with people from industry who come to the college and sit in tables with students and have a chat about different things, about different careers. And very often our students have got work opportunities or internships through the contacts that they have done in those events. We're very proud of our graduates. We always say that they are our best ambassadors, and indeed some of the people who come to the Meet the Experts event are people who are graduates of ours, and now they're working in industry at a quite high level, and they come to talk to our students about how they forge their career path. There's lots of other ways in which we are connected to industry, and also ways in which we develop employability skills. A lot of them happens inside units, but also you, as with the technical equipment and everything else we have been saying, you also have access to the wider infrastructure of the college and the university. So there is a mentoring scheme, for instance, that runs at college level, and there are different careers opportunities at UAL level. You could also join a work agency called ArtSTEMs, that is effectively a work agency inside the university, and through them you can get paid work while you study with us, and up to 1 or 2 years after graduation. As I was saying, we are very proud of our students, their achievements. They have gone to work to lots of very interesting places like CNN, Plaster Magazine, Wallpaper Magazine, Artnet, and several others. Other students have established themselves in sort of sectors adjacent to journalism, such as PR. A couple of our graduates are working for Pure PR, which is one of the main PR agencies in London. One student has a very high position now at Defected Records. So some students have gone to have careers that look very journalistic, that they are very journalistic, and others have gone to places that are kind of adjacent to journalism, also working in communications for arts institutions, for instance, the Somerset House Gallery in London. Other students have gone to establish themselves as freelancers, so they write and produce content for a variety of different outlets, in different areas, depending on their interests. A lot of our students really enjoy music journalism, so some of them are freelancing in that area, but also lifestyle, fashion, humanitarian journalism, etc. What you see, the image there on your screen, is Max, one of our recent graduates, who won a prize called the Neil McLennan Award that is given to one student per year. In the last few years has been given to one student per year. And Max's work all sits under the umbrella of new masculinity, male experiences, and so on. Something that people always ask me is about the application process. When we run open evenings and open events, you need to submit a portfolio as part of your application process. There's lots of information in the website about this, but I just wanted to say a few things because applicants always email me through our admissions team. So a portfolio, just think about it as a collection of work that demonstrates your creativity and what you have been doing in the last few years. So you can include a variety of different things. We're not prescriptive with your portfolio. So if you have work, let's say in journalism before, you can submit a collection of different pieces of journalism in any medium, or could be mixed medium. If you are at a kind of earlier stage in your career, maybe you are just a recent graduate, you can submit some work that you did for your previous university, for your undergrad studies. You maybe have a website or a blog, so you can submit a link to that site so that we can have a look at your work. Some students even prepare work for the publication, so perhaps they haven't published any work, but they write a few pieces of journalism about something of their interest as part of their portfolio. So it could be in any media or a multimedia submission. If you are unsure, you can always email our admissions team and they will forward me your email and I can clarify, because as I said, we're not prescriptive, so we're open to quite a lot of different things. And also, if you need to write a personal statement up as part of the application, these are some of the things that you can think of that will help you about doing that. Why have you chosen this subject? how does your previous studies or experience relate to the course? Or maybe you want to do something different and that's why you're applying, and you might want to explain that. What's your work experience, your life experiences? What skills do you have? And what plans and ambitions do you have for your future career? These are just some of the ideas, but a personal statement is personal, and we want to hear from you directly, not from an AI software. We want to know what are you about and what you will bring to the course. So this is some extra information about the personal statement, your reasons for choosing the course, your current creative practice, and what's your relevant education, industry, or industry experience. So thank you so much for hearing this presentation, and we look forward to seeing you perhaps at LCC in the near future.